everyone, my name is Sarah Westerway and I'm a Master Practitioner with Healing Solutions, and I'm joined today by Dr. Tom Miller, who is a practitioner on our team. Last time I introduced him as a Senior Practitioner and I got in trouble, so I'm just going to say Master Practitioner on our team.
Oh,
and
senior is fine. I'm a senior, okay? I get it. I'm a senior. I can say it.
And we're joined today by Kylie, who is a long-term client of mine, and she's in New South Wales, Australia. So thanks for joining me, Kylie.
You're welcome.
So today we're going to demonstrate how we work with animals, and we've actually chosen one of the bigger animals to work with today. Kylie is a horse owner. She has 7 horses, and we decided that we wanted to show people how we work with animals. I'm not an animal communicator, but we definitely have lots of success with working with animals, but we do work through the client, so the owner of the animal. So we just wanted to demonstrate how that works today. So Kylie, if you just want to explain a little bit about Cecil, who is the horse that we're going to be working on today. If you just want to explain a little bit what's going on for him.
Okay, sure. Cecil's a performance horse, so he show jumps at a reasonable level and dressage competitions. Cecil has been away at a lot of competitions, but recently, so a lot of travelling and probably stress being away from home and competing. He's picked up this, like last couple of days coming home from a big comp, he's picked up a virus, so he's a bit down in the dumps, yellow nose discharge. And prior to going away though, he also in the paddock came up with some sort of swelling in his glands. He had first of all, we noticed a swelling on his front lips. Another day he had a swelling on his face. Then his glands were swollen and it'd come out of his paddock like that. So I'm not sure if you know something's happened at home and then he's picked up a virus, or if this is continuation from what's happened at home. I don't know sort of what's happened with him, but he's not 100%.
Okay. So he showed up with some swelling, and then he's gone away for a jumping event, and then he's come home with a cold is basically what we're working on, our field that we're working on today.
Yeah.
How was his performance when he was jumping?
Excellent. It didn't say we wouldn't have taken him if he was sick, so he was fine. So the swellings were sort of quite minor. They'd go away because he comes in at night to his stable, and they would be gone. And it sort of was just when we'd bring him in from the paddock, we'd have these glands. We're like, well, this is weird. But overall health and performance, he was fine, and he performed and travelled well. No sign of any illness when we're away. He even got a ribbon, which is cool. And then, yeah, so that was good. But then when we've come home in a couple of days afterwards, he's got this discharge and sort of, I'm like, oh, now we're not well.
Got it.
So, yeah.
Would you
not sure if they're related or, sorry.
Would you describe him as like a stressy horse? Ever feel stressed?
No. Well, when he travels with us, he takes it all in his stride, and he's very happy in the bubble of show jumping and stable. He was very relaxed the whole weekend, so that was all good. But he can be quite a nervous animal when it's strange things, like he'll be like, oh, there's a rock, or there's a bird in the tree, I didn't know was there. So there are some things that he's quite spooky of, but when he's in his bubble and traveling, he's quite relaxed and happy. So he's an interesting animal, and he can be, in certain circumstances, a little bit over the top, but it's bizarre. He'll come back to being super dude. So, yeah.
Okay. So I was at the event that Kylie's talking about where Cecil was, and I was explaining to Kylie on the day that animals are really cool to work with because they're always in the now. So they always live in that moment, and we can learn a lot from our animals. But in particular, I was saying to her, with Cecil, the good thing is that animals heal really quickly from this kind of stuff because they want to get better, but they live in the now, so they don't necessarily stress. So Cecil's not in the paddock stressing about the next event that's going to happen. But we do find with some horses, when I've worked with them before, that they can still hold on to trauma from past experiences. They do hold on to trauma like we do. But the good thing is that they live in the now as well. So they do it better than we do, I find. I don't know about you, Tom, if you find the same thing, but I find working with animals is just, there's something about it that I really find really special.
I haven't worked with a huge number of horses, maybe 2 or 3 or 4, something like that. I work with a lot of dogs in particular and some cats, but yeah, horses are pretty sensitive. Yeah. They're very sensitive, almost, you know, intuitive creatures, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we found that in the past with Kylie's horses, that they're in tune with her and her daughter. So we've definitely found that they're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
And Kylie is a wonderful owner of horses. She will do anything for her horses. So they're very lucky to have her, but they are very much in tune with her. So let's just find out what's going on for Cecil. So we might actually find there is a non-physical, as we do with humans as well. So sometimes we can find non-physical issues with animals just the same. But we'll just find out what's going on with the swelling. Is the swelling gone from what was happening? I think that was a bite.
Yeah, well, so Rihanna noticed it was still here. The glands were still up. Was it yesterday morning? Yeah. So okay. The swellings on the face. Yeah.
Is it, Kylie, do you know if it's salivary glands or is it lymph nodes?
Well, I'm not sure. I think I'm just assuming it's lymph.
Okay, gotcha.
So I don't actually know.
No problem. Either way, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you just want to say, we're testing in Cecil's field at the moment. So just say, I want to be healthy.
I want to be healthy.
So I'm testing his reverse. So just go and hold your belly point for him. So for people who don't know where our belly point is, we say, hold your fingers together like this and hold them 2 inches above your belly button. And you hold it on you don't have to hold it on your skin, but just on your shirt. Okay,
so
testing for Cecil.
Sarah, did you find he's reversed then?
I found he's reversed.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just clearing that reversal.
So should we explain what that means?
Yeah, so let's explain that. Yep.
Okay. So reversal, so polarity means that Cecil has a North Pole and a South Pole. Ours is here, North Pole here, South Pole at the tip of our tailbone. I'm guessing for Cecil is probably, you know, somewhere around the top of his head and, you know, hit somewhere around his behind, right? Okay. And so that the North Pole and the South Pole create sort of an electromagnetic shell that you know, that we live in, just like the Earth has electromagnetic field. And so I think this is just my idea that electromagnetic shell kind of protects us and controls us. But when it flips, like what Sarah's saying is Cecil's polarity is reversed, then things start to run backwards. Okay. And so then we don't heal. So we don't die if we're reversed, but we just don't heal. And so with Cecil, the first thing we want to do is get his polarity put straight, because then he can get better right away. So.
And we always check for that too at the very start of our sessions, because if we go ahead and we don't check that, our testing can actually test wonky or reverse to what it is. So we might get a yes when it's actually a no. So we check and clear reversal, because then our testing is much more accurate, and we bring the person or the pet or the animal back online so that their testing is accurate as well. So I've just cleared him. So just now say, I want to be healthy.
I want to be healthy.
Okay, so I've cleared his reversal. So I tap under my nose, side of hand. Then Tom also taps on chin. Sometimes we go right into the field and figure out why there's reversal. But the fact that he's actually unreversed just by doing that, we can just keep going through. So sometimes that doesn't clear reversal, and we actually need to know more. So we need to know what is actually causing the reversal for that person. So what's causing, or the animal, what's causing polarity reversal. So he's fine there. So we're just going to check 100% free of any deception in his testing, 100% free of any spiritual interference, obstruction, attack, attachments, 100% free of any non-physically attached fields. 100% free of any non-physically attached fields. I want to be healthy. Okay, I'm just checking his dehydration or his hydration. That's fine. He has an open, lost, blocked, incomplete treatment. 100% of his treatments are online. So he actually has a lost treatment from probably something that you and I have done on him before, Kylie. Okay. So I'm just going to test in terms of Cecil. So we're thinking about around about 2 weeks. Is that where we're up to, where it first started?
I can tell you. Willinga. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So we're thinking about the swellings at home. Yeah.
Okay.
Sir, so can I explain what you're doing?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. So Cecil was reversed. So then both you and Kylie tapped, right? Okay. So there's some acupuncture points that we tap to clear a reversal. That'll unreverse temporarily. But then if we hold the solar plexus point with all of the fingers, that will keep the person or the animal from going into reversal again while we're testing them. Okay. And yeah. And then, you got them on reverse. So then you're progressing with the testing. So then you're going into checking the non-physical field, or you're just checking to make sure that he didn't have lost treatments.
I'm just checking because I've worked with him before. I'm just checking he didn't have a spiritual attachment. Okay. And I'm also checking that his treatments are online from what we've done in the past.
Okay, good. I just want people watching the video to understand what we're doing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, cool. Thank you for that. And also when we hold our belly point, some people say, can I let go? And I always say during the treatment, I like them to hold it because it stops them going back into reversal, because when we get into a field and we get deeper into a field, sometimes they can go back into reversal. So I always say to my clients, you just hold it there as much as possible. Like if you can hold it there until we get it through the treatment.
So far we know that Cecil has reversal. He's got a lost treatment, but no attachments or is there any trauma that he's carried forward that you've picked up yet, or have you not tested that?
I haven't tested for the trauma side of things. So I'm just going to figure out. So I'm going to go into the physical side first. If you want to do that, Tom. If you want to stop me and explain anything where we're going. So I just want to figure out. So we call it a terrain change. So I just want to figure out what in the terrain changed for Cecil. So why was he going fine? And then all of a sudden he's got these swollen glands and he feels like it looks like he's got a cold.
Exactly.
So I'm just going to check there, and it could be non-physical, something there. So I'm going to say something in the terrain changed for Cecil. Yes. This is more than 1 week. Yes. More than 2 weeks. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to say more than 3. So 14 days. 14, 15, 16, 17, around about 17 days ago, something in the terrain changed. Okay, so what is this? This is physical. This is non-physical. I'm getting that it's physical. Okay, so then we can say when it's physical, well, what is his body's priority at the moment? Are we looking at the physical? Yes. Okay, we're going to look at the physical side of things for him. That's his body's priority. So something in the terrain changed physically. Okay, so is this man-made? This is biological. Yes. So I'm actually getting that it's biological. So then we can then go into, okay, if it's biological, what might it be? So is it a virus? Is it a pathogen? Is it a spider bite? I thought it was a bite to start with. An insect bite? No, this is some sort of bite. All injectants want to be healthy. That test's clear. Fighting a virus, challenged by a virus, is a virus in this field. Actually get that he's got 4 viruses in this field.
Okay. So you didn't find any ingestants or injectants, inhalants, contactants?
Let's just check in this field, all inhalants. Inhalants want to be healthy. He's got 2 inhalants. Normally what I find with the horses is inhalants tend to be their feed. They're very, very sensitive to feed and anything in the feed, like dust in the feed or mold. And we might not necessarily find it, but I think, Kylie, we've found mold more times in hay than you could actually ever see in hay. And when we swap them over to a different one, they do much better. So I'm actually getting the inhalant is something in his feed. So whether that bale of hay that they fed out or the bit of chaff might have been too dusty or something there. All ingestants want to be healthy, more than one, more than two. He's actually showing 2 ingestants. All injectants want to be healthy. They're clear. Contactants want to be healthy, and they're clear. Okay, so these inhalants and ingestants, if I erase all of his feed, so he would be in the paddock as well?
Yes, so daytime in the paddock, nighttime in the stable with his hard feed and hay.
Yeah, okay.
So the paddock, is that the corral? Is that what we call the corral?
That would be like a field, I guess, out in the field.
All right, gotcha. Okay, all right. Okay.
So they go out into a pasture paddock, out into a field of pasture.
Yeah.
And then they come back into sort of what you would call a corral bit, but then into the stables.
Got it. Okay. So, so probably ingestants and inhalants, from your experience, is something that's pretty hard to control, right? Because there's going to be mold or whatever in there. So literally, we just have to clear that then, correct?
Yeah. And normally that's what we find with Kylie's horses. We just have to clear it because it's dusty all the time. If they haven't got rain, they're in the central west of New South Wales. It just seems to come up all the time, and there's just something there. But generally speaking, horses are okay with that. It's just when they're vulnerable, and he's vulnerable because he has this virus.
Okay, I gotcha. Sure. So that's kind of why you went to virus right away. Clear that.
Yeah, because
yeah, that totally makes sense. I gotcha. Yep.
Okay. Excuse the banging if you can hear that. Okay, so we're getting ingestants in. If I just erase his feed as an inhalant, because when he eats, he will inhale it. That's what horses do. They've got those big nasal passages. So if I just erase his feed, all inhalants want to be healthy. All ingestants want to be healthy. Yeah, it's something to do with the feed only. It's not another inhalant. So something in there.
Got it. I guess I'm just showing how little I know about horses, actually.
I guess, you know, with Kylie, we've had 7 horses to work on. So we're just getting, you know, like we see the same sort of thing over and over with each of them sometimes. I mean, they're all different, but sometimes we get the same sort of patterns, and then you can pick up and go, okay, this is what's happening. So
the difference between horses and humans is that if we have humans that are showing ingestants or inhalants, we want to remove them from the inhalant or remove the ingestant from their diet, right? Because we can. But it's a whole different deal with horses because they pretty much got to eat what, you know, what you've got. I mean, you can't very well vary their diet too much, right, Kylie?
That's right. You don't do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, Sarah has picked up once there was like, I couldn't see it, but there was a particular batch of hay I did get, I got rid of.
Yeah.
You know, because
exactly.
you can't always see it, and it's not always ideal where you got it from or whatever. So, yeah. And it definitely wasn't, I wouldn't deliberately ever feed moldy feed. But
of course. Right. Yeah. And so if you clear the stressors, then they do better with the ingestants and inhalants. I guess that's kind of like humans too, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So you can adjust a horse's feed in a certain way. So there are different types of hay that you could give them. Mm-hmm. There are different types of pellets that you can give them, but in comparison to humans, it's very, very limited. So yeah, you kind of, you know, whatever's in the pasture out in the paddock that's growing is limited as in feed in the paddock, but what you can hand feed them, but then that becomes really time consuming and expensive. But normally what's out in the paddock is out in the paddock, and you can change that a little bit, but yeah, I mean, we just sort of have to clear up the animals, so in a bit of a different way. So if we just erase his feed, there was something there and in his halant. So if we need to know more to clear that? No. So we don't need to know more about that as such. So I'm just going to check for pathogens in against this field with these swollen lymph, what we think are lymph glands. Fighting a virus, challenged by a virus. There's a virus in this field. Yes, I'm getting a yes there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm getting 4 viruses. Okay, these are new to his body. Yes. Okay, are these viruses, did he have these viruses prior to going away to the event? Yes. Did he pick something new up at the event? He's actually got both. I'm actually picking up he had something before he left, and he actually picked something up while he was there. So where they were, would you say thousands of horses or hundreds of horses?
Well, hundreds.
Yeah, okay. There was a lot of horses there, and they're around a lot in the stables where they are. Okay, so let's find out anything hidden. I want to be healthy. No hidden viruses. Fighting a bacteria, challenged by bacteria. There's a bacteria in this field. I'm actually getting that there's some kind of bacteria. I'll just check for I want to be healthy. 2, 3 bacteria.
Do horses get viruses from humans? No,
I'm not aware of them.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
So it's likely that because she's had horses, I think there was, like, from what I can see, there was something he already had a virus, and that was in the glands where what made him swell, but then he's been exposed to something else as well, which has given him this extra boost, and it's given him these symptoms.
Yeah. and he does go away. He would have gone away prior to that big event too. So, we'd been away all over the place.
He's been away a bit. Yeah. So he's had something prior to going away to that big event that we're talking about. Okay. Fighting a parasite. So parasites are very common in horses. So you definitely want to check that. Fighting a parasite, challenged by a parasite, nothing there. Anything hidden. I want to be healthy, nothing hidden. Fighting a mycoplasma, challenged by mycoplasma in this field. I want to be healthy. Any unknown pathogens, I want to be healthy. That's all clear. Fighting a biofilm, challenged by biofilm in this field. I want to be healthy. Fighting molds, candida fungus, candida fungus in this field. I want to be healthy. Nothing there. Okay. So do we need to know more? So I've got viruses and bacteria. So do we need to know more to clear these? Do we need to know the specific type of viruses and bacteria that they are to clear these? I actually know that we don't need to find out what they actually are to clear them. But if you want to just check that, Tom. Before I go any further, this is what I should have done at the start. I'm just going to reconnect. Now, with horses, I'm just going to reconnect his field. So with horses, they have a little bit of a different spinal column. So it has more spinal segments than we do, and they all have more spinal nerves than we do. But when we reconnect an animal, we do it the same way as we would with humans. So I reconnect entry points the same way as I would with a human. So they still have the same entry points, same body fluids, drainage pathways, and then spinal segments are just a little bit different. All their systems, detox, immune points, and switches.
Sarah, can I talk about what you're doing?
Yeah, go for it. I'm just going to reconnect.
So this is called a reconnection. All of our organs, glands, and tissues have a built-in intelligence, if you will, but sometimes they lose connection with the brain and with the healing intelligence of the body. So what Sarah's doing is she's going through and she's finding what organs, glands, and tissues are offline. So this would be like if you go in the garage and you look in your breaker panel and you see a bunch of breakers that are off. What Sarah's doing is she's flipping those breakers back on. So all the organs, glands, and tissues are connected. So when she clears this, it's got multiple pathways to clear through.
Yeah. So it just gives you extra, an extra layer of connection again. Too. Yeah.
And sometimes things just get better just by doing a reconnection. Yeah. So as I go through and I reconnect things, I can just feel their energy just getting better and better and better, Because something took that organ, gland, or tissue offline. So once we reconnect it, everything just functions better. So
yeah. So then we can be really specific. So I reconnect generally. So I reconnect entry points and cranial sutures and cranial nerves and spinal segments. I connect those generally. But then once they've reconnected, then I say something in the field, there is still something not connected. And then we're going to find specific organ, glands, or tissues, points, body points, whatever that is, that are offline. So if we did that for Cecil and said, something in the field is not connected. And then what I'm using is what we call the pulse chart. And it's got a list of all our organs, glands, and tissues on that. And then if there's something offline for Cecil, I do have a horse pulse chart, which is just a bit different, which is I've created because I've worked with so many horses that have done something differently. But you can find it on our normal pulse chart because it will show you what is closest to that. So them being mammals, they have the same sort of organ, glands, and tissues. It's just some of the things are a little bit different, but you will find it on our pulse chart. You don't need to make a new one or anything like that if you're learning this yourself.
So what you've done is you've done a sort of a reconnection of the primary things like the electrical pathways and the signaling pathways in the body. So all that's online, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So it makes our testing more accurate and easier and better. And then you go into the field of the drainage and the swelling to see if there's something specifically there that's not connected.
So what is it that's causing this, line for him, or what is it that's responsible for causing this for him? And then anything else that needs connecting, reconnecting. So I'm just going to go through and check for him all the major glands, organs, glands, and tissues. So I'm just going to do on my chart. So I'm just going to flip through my chart. If you want to explain anything there, Tom, while I do that, it's him, here. Spleen, pancreas.
So Sarah, can you show us the chart?
Yeah, sure. I'll just put one up online here.
Okay.
So you can see what I'm
perfect.
looking at.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then all I'm doing is going through, and there are some touch points. So you'll see on the chart there that there are some touch points where you actually touch. So you can see there's certain parts of the body that you actually touch. And then there's other parts where you can actually just touch over. There's either a point, or you can actually touch over. So kidneys is this, or you can actually touch over the kidneys at the back. So there's different touch points, and you can actually touch over the organ, gland, or tissue as well. So I'm just going to test through. It's here, 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 here. It's here, here, here. Something in the small intestine.
So what you're saying is you can touch the pulse point on the wrist for kidney. You can touch over the kidneys themselves, or you can touch the muscles associated with kidney.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So some people just I actually like to touch over I think as learning, because when we've learnt, there's so many different touch points on here, and for me learning, it was just easier. I knew where the organ was.
I think you really get a good connection that way for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're specifically thinking about that, but each of the practitioners do that a little bit differently. So you might see that in different ways there. Okay, somewhere else here, somewhere here, 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 here. So I'm getting bile ducts somewhere here, 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 and body fluids. Tom, in terms of body fluids, you go through and check in a little bit different way. Do you want to explain? I've actually picked up that something in his body fluids is offline.
I just really sort of try and determine if it's intracellular or extracellular body fluids. Generally what I do is I don't actually necessarily clear body fluids as a group. I just make a note if the body fluids are online, and then as I go through, whatever's causing that we'll just clear it as we go. It's sort of like for me, lost, blocked, open, and complete treatments. I don't take time to see what's causing that, because as we go through and we finish our treatment, they'll all be online by the time we get done.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm finding where he's offline is really all to do. So I'm finding lymphatics, which makes sense. His body fluids, his central nervous system, his cranial nerve or vagus nerve in particular, then bile ducts, his pancreas and spleen, and small intestine. So I'm still going through my chart just to see anywhere else is offline. Okay. Somewhere else here, here. Okay, so where is that? Here, parasympathetic nervous system. So when you get the nervous system in particular, so if you got central nervous system or you got parasympathetic nervous system, do you look at that more in like closer, have a closer look at that? Yep.
Yeah, I do. So I break it down and I ask is there some part of the central nervous system that's offline? I get yes. If I get yes, I ask right away if it's brain or spinal cord or both. And then I go into the functional brain areas, the sensory brain engines, spinal fluid, meninges, all of that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But, you know, you might find something and you put it online, you go back and ask, is there some part of the nervous system's offline? No, then you're done. You don't have to do all of that. Yeah.
Okay.
So body fluids, lymphatics, bile ducts, spleen, nervous, some part of the nervous system. What else is offline, Sarah?
His parasympathetic nervous system.
Okay.
I also got vagus nerve.
Okay.
And I think you got all the rest that I had.
Okay. Hey, Sarah, when you're testing horses, do you ever find like in their spine, like subluxation, like, you know, like bones out of place? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You will find that, especially with, maybe not with horses that haven't been ridden, but definitely with horses that are ridden, because, and quite often, and I know Kylie does, Kylie will get a chiropractor, a horse chiropractor to come and give them adjustment, because they are, and sometimes, you know, riding horses that they're off. I think, you know, Kylie would be more in tune with that than me, but when you're riding a horse, you can actually tell if they've got problems with their back, because they'll sort of ride a bit differently. I mean, Kylie rides at a really high level, so she'd probably be more in tune with that with her horses. But Kylie, if your horse had a spinal segment out, you could tell, right? That's why you would call the chiropractor.
Yeah. They are very good at hiding things as well, but to show you their behavior changes, and you've got to be tuned in and alert, because a lot of horse owners will go, my horse is, he's whatever today, or you know, whatever, call them horrible names and things, but it's like, are you listening? I think he's trying to tell you something. Like, so yes, it could be as simple as just a tilting the head to the wrong direction, or swishing of the tail, or stepping short, or whatever. But yeah, you've got to try and feel it and listen to what they're saying.
Yeah, I think they're very prone to subluxation in the back in particular. I think maybe mainly because we ride them. That, you know, and having the right saddle, having the right gear, making sure that the saddle is fitted for the right horse, you know, everything has to work really well for them, because if you're putting the wrong saddle on the wrong horse that doesn't fit, that will also cause subluxation then. But even horses out in the paddock that don't get ridden can still have that same issue. So did you pick up something in his back?
Yeah, well, I think he's probably got an upper cervical subluxation, because his vagus is offline. Yeah. And then do you have a chart, like, you know, we've got a chart that links spinal nerves to organs. Do you have one of those for horses as well?
Yeah. Not to organs. Not to organs. I've got the spinal segments that match the spinal nerves for horses.
Okay. Yeah.
Not to the.
Okay. Yeah.
I wonder, is it the same? I guess it would be.
Yeah, because I was just curious with, you know, like bile ducts. It seems kind of random, you know. The spleen, yeah, I can see that because he's got some viruses, but bile ducts makes me think that he's probably got something in his you know, dorsal spine that's offline, you know, that's causing his bile ducts to, you know. So I was just curious.
Yeah, that's interesting. Did you pick up any other organ, gland, or tissue that were offline for him? Okay.
No.
All right. So at this point, I would normally then go, okay, something is blocking his body's ability to see and clear this. Like, what is this blocking his body's ability to see and clear these ingestants, inhalants, and this virus and cold? So we call them a curtain. So I'm just going to check, is there some sort of physical curtain blocking his body somewhere here, somewhere here, somewhere here, 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 here. Okay, somewhere else, blocking his body here, 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 here.
So what Sarah's doing right now is she's just asking, is there anything else besides what we found to this point that's blocking Cecil's healing? Okay, and we have something called a curtain list where we've got, I don't know how many hundreds of different things that we just run through and we just scan it and just ask, is this something here, something here, something here, something here? Yeah.
So just say, Kylie, it's here.
It's here?
I'm actually getting his vagus nerve. There's a pinch in his vagus nerve.
That's the atlas. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So has he had any like digestive issues or anything else with that, Kylie? Because sometimes that can
Yeah, I haven't noticed. He's on his feed at the moment, as in happy to eat. And I haven't noticed anything passing that's different.
Okay, cool. So Tom, when you get vagus nerve impingement, then how do you clear it?
I'll clear it right now. I'll put his atlas or his first cervical online, and then you go back and check and see if there's still a pinch. Okay.
Okay, no worries.
So I bring in the atlas for him. I connect that to cerebellum and cranial nerve 10. Okay. So now go ahead and check and see if that cleared his vagus.
Okay, so let's think about. No, it's here. No, yeah, it actually cleared that.
Okay. Yeah. So it's not necessarily a substitute for a chiropractic adjustment, but it does alert his body to reconnect to that, and sometimes that will take care of it. Yeah.
I think I've had, like, I see a chiropractor, but just speaking of that, I've had so many healing solutions treatments where I've had a really sore back or something is out and actually pinched, and you do a session and it clears and you don't actually have to get a physical treatment. And then there is other times where you do need to actually get that physical manipulation.
For sure. Yeah.
So sometimes you can do it energetically. Sometimes you just need someone to actually do it. Yeah. So and that's a good thing about
I adjusted spines for 35 years before I started doing this full time. So it's kind of hard for me to like accept that I could actually do something energetically that way, but it's, it works. Works pretty well.
Well, we know it works from all the testimonials that we get. So, all good. So I'm just going to check if there's anything else, another curtain blocking his body's ability to see this, something else here, something else here, something else here, here. Yeah, I'm just getting the pathogen itself. So I'm just going to clear those viruses and that bacteria as a curtain. Clear those inhalants and the ingestants as a curtain. Okay. Is there something else blocking his body's ability to see and clearly? Something else we need to find here? No. Okay. We could do what's called a cell surface receptor scan there as well, but we've done that in another video that we've done before, so people can look back on our YouTube videos and see that. I won't do that for Cecil if you don't think.
Sorry. Yeah. I would say if there's a bunch of toxin, we'd want to do that. But if it's pathogens, probably don't need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we could test, like we say, is it best good for him to do a cell surface receptor scan? No, we can just clear this straight out.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to go ahead and clear where we found that. So I'm going to clear.
Hey, Sarah, can I say something about clearing what you're doing? Okay.
Yeah.
So there's two types of clearing. The one is where we clear something like off of our radar screen. Like Sarah's finding things, and we call it clearing, but really what she's doing is she's showing Cecil's healing intelligence in his body where these issues are at. And then once we clear that, it kind of disappears from the radar screen. so we don't keep finding it over and over and over again. Okay. And then in the final step, what Sarah does is she clears it from the body. She tells Cecil's body, here it is, now clear it.
Mm-hmm.
So the one clearing is we're clearing it from our radar screen. The second is we're clearing it from the body. Yeah.
And then we can just double check that we have cleared it by going back and testing them. So we can say something in the field is not connected. No, something else is involved or stressed in this field. No, something is blocked from a healthy, dry, oxygenated state. No, okay, some other organ, gland, or tissue, something blocking his homeostasis. No, and I'm not getting anything there. So that would indicate that we found there's some sort of virus there that he's going to process, and that will clear out of his body. Now, I do know at this point, I'd say we have 100% of the physical information to clear this for Cecil, and we have 100% of the non-physical information. Yes. Is it in his best and highest good to have a new code? I know he's already got a code, so we can pull that into his existing code.
Okay. And just in case people don't know what a code is, it's acupuncture points that we test for, like for Cecil, to keep his treatment online and keep his energy moving through his body. So it's just like sending this information through his body over and over again, so he doesn't forget, so things don't go offline, so he can, I mean, he'll really heal up in a hurry with a code. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And on our website, we also have some universal codes. So you can grab, you can look at, so if you're new to Healing Solutions and you don't know what a code is, you can look that up. And also there are universal codes. So codes that go for all different issues. So there might be one there for viruses, one there for bacteria, ingestants and inhalants. So there's all different types of codes that what we call universal.
Yep. besthealingsolutions.com.
Excellent. I'll put the information at the end of this video.
All right. Good work.
Well, thank you, Kylie, for letting us demonstrate.
Yeah, that was so much fun. So interesting. Sarah, you're on top of that stuff. That's good. You're good. Yeah.
The horses are really fun. I've really found that, and thank you to Kylie for being willing to, because she does have really high performing horses, and you know, the fact that she trusts me with her horses, and when something's going wrong, she, you know, calls me and asks me for help. I mean, and they're special. I mean, I've been to Kylie's house and I've seen her horses, and there's just some, I mean, I know why she's got 7. You know, if it was me, I'd have 10, 20 horses. It'd be like, no, because they're really cool animals.
Oh, that's great. Good work.
I don't have the space, luckily.
All right.
Thank you. So thanks, Kylie, for joining us, and thanks, Tom, for your wisdom.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Yep. Good to see you, Kylie. All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.